On the school playground, Ivy Ding, who was passing by, was suddenly pushed into Fin Lu's arms. Her face instantly turned bright red, and she was so nervous she didn't know where to put her hands and feet. I froze. Was this some kind of lunatic? The man's face was full of madness. You should cherish someone like Ivy Ding. A top student with brains and intelligence. He looked at me with a face full of disgust. A fool like this, who only has looks but no brains, will only ruin your future. Fin Lu snapped back to reality and quickly stepped forward to shield me. Who are you? Get out of here, or we'll call the police. The man shook his head, his expression full of disappointment. You'll regret this. Don't make the wrong choice. Fin Lu obviously didn't believe it. Elle was the campus belle, the goddess everyone chased after. How could he possibly regret it? He had been secretly in love with Elle Shia for a long time. Fin Lu firmly shielded me behind him. Ivy Ding stood to the side holding her books, and upon hearing the man's words, her eyes suddenly lit up. The man said with a serious expression, "Believe it or not, I am you from the future. Take a closer look at my face. Don't we look very much alike?" I took a closer look, indeed. The middle-aged man before him bore an uncanny resemblance to Fin Lu, as if they were cast from the same mold. Fin Lu was puzzled, feeling somewhat indecisive. How is this possible? Are you from the future? The man smiled and said, "Yes, I came back just to tell you. You shouldn't choose Elle Shia. You should choose Ivy Ding." Fin Lu frowned. "I'm absolutely certain that the one I love is Elle. Whether you're a future version of me or some lunatic trying to tear us apart, I won't listen to you." Fin Lu turned his head and met my gaze. His eyes were filled with tenderness and affection. My heart warmed. Fin Lu has pursued me for so long, cutting off all other romantic interests around him. I believe he's sincere. The man raised an eyebrow at these words, a hint of disdain flashing in his eyes. What you like now is merely her face, her outer appearance. But let me tell you, beauty fades with time. 10 years from now, Elle Shia will be no different from those middle-aged aunties selling vegetables on the street, wrinkled and overweight. Once you get to know her soul, you'll realize she's actually worthless and utterly boring. Fin Lu pressed his lips together, visibly angry. "Please stop slandering the person I love." Fin Lu pulled me away, not wanting to argue with this lunatic any longer. The man chased closely behind us. "You must remember, Ivy Ding is your perfect match. You two are made for each other. Soul compatibility is far more important than appearance. Ivy understands you, cares for you, and is gentle and virtuous. She's the one you should marry." Fin Lu covered my ears and whispered, "He's just a madman, ignore him." I nodded obediently and nestled close to him. Who would believe the words of some random lunatic? The man kept chasing relentlessly. "By the way, when you were 10, you still wet the bed and got a beating from Mom. Back then, to accidentally run into Elle Shia, you deliberately waited downstairs for half a month just to see her, and still stubbornly claimed it was a coincidence. Only you would know about these things, right?" Fin Lu's footsteps came to a halt. Indeed. These were things only he would know. He turned his head for the first time, looking seriously at the man's face. If the man just shaved the beard on his chin, it seemed they would look exactly alike. I felt somewhat uneasy. Could there really be two people in the world who looked so similar? But Fin Lu only froze for a moment before quickly pulling me away. "The psychos these days are being investigated more thoroughly. We better leave quickly before we get entangled." Fin Lu escorted me back to the classroom. In the past, Fin Lu would always deliberately make small talk with me at the classroom door, trying to spend as much time with me as possible. But today, he turned and left without a word. Watching his hurried departure, I suddenly felt something was amiss. As if guided by some supernatural force, I secretly followed him. I discovered he had gone back to find that peculiar man. The two entered a small grove and didn't emerge until hours later. After a lengthy conversation, I'm worried that Fin Lu might be scammed by that strange man. Who knows if this could be some new type of scam? The teacher just gave a lecture on fraud prevention in class yesterday. As for what that man said, I don't believe a single word of it, no matter how many times I rejected him. Fin Lu stood firmly in front of me, confessing his feelings with unwavering determination. He never allowed other girls to get close to him, maintaining a very clean social circle. Originally, I believed that high school should focus on academics, so I never had any plans to date, but Fin Lu's sincerity moved me, so it was just the ramblings of a deranged man. Fin Lu and I weren't in the same class, but our physical education periods overlapped, so every time during PE, Fin Lu would take the opportunity to stick by my side. During afternoon PE, as usual, I waited for him under the big tree, but this time, Fin Lu didn't walk toward me. Instead, he passed right by me and headed straight for Ivy Ding. Seeing Fin Lu approach her, Ivy Ding looked both surprised and flustered. She had been secretly in love with Fin Lu for a long time. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that one day Fin Lu would notice someone as insignificant as her. Fin Lu looked down at her, his voice gentle. "Want to team up for volleyball?" Ivy Ding glanced at me a few times, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Aren't you pairing up with classmate Xia today?" Ever since the start of the semester, Fin Lu had always been on my team for every school activity. No exceptions. Fin Lu frowned. "Why do I always have to team up with her? I'm not her servant." Ivy Ding's face flushed with excitement. "Then, would classmate Xia be angry with you?" Fin Lu said coldly. "I have no relationship with her. What right does she have to be angry?" After speaking, Fin Lu actually directly wrapped his arm around Ivy Ding's waist. Hearing these words, my eyes welled up with tears. No relationship at all. Then who was the person flirting with me after school every day? Fin Lu walked past me with his arm around Ivy Ding, and Ivy Ding's shoulder bumped into me hard. I let out a cry. "It hurts." Ivy Ding's gaze was provocative, but her tone was panicked, as if I had scared her out of her wits. "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." Fin Lu glanced at me impatiently. "No need to apologize to her. She likes to make a fuss over the slightest bump or scratch, when there's actually nothing wrong at all." My eyes reddened, and my heart ached with bitterness. Last time, when I accidentally cut my hand with a pencil sharpener, Fin Lu had panicked and carried me to the infirmary in a fluster. The school nurse looked helpless. "If you'd run any slower, her wound would have healed by itself." The boy blushed crimson, his eyes filled with affection. I didn't want to lose, nor did I want others to see my embarrassment. Biting back tears, I teamed up with other girls. Suddenly, as I was bending down to tie my shoelaces, a volleyball flew out from the court. With a loud thud, it hit me squarely on the head. Stars immediately danced before my eyes, and I collapsed onto the ground. At this moment, Ivy Ding jogged over, her eyes red and swollen, as if she were the one who had been hit. "Sorry, I don't know how it happened, but the volleyball suddenly flew out." Though she apologized with her words, she didn't even offer a hand to help, giving me a malicious look as I lay indecently on the ground, making a complete spectacle of myself. A female classmate couldn't stand it and stepped forward to scold her. "Stop pretending. Even a blind person could tell you did it on purpose." Exactly. The ball landed right on Elle's head, and with such force too. Who would believe it wasn't intentional? "Oh dear Tilda, the volleyball somehow suddenly flew out. Tilda, what's up? If you didn't hit it, does the ball have some special powers or something?" Ivy Ding was scared to tears, covering her eyes. "But I really don't know what happened." Fin Lu chased after me, saw me lying on the ground, and didn't even bat an eye. Instead, he shielded Ivy Ding behind him. "Don't cry, I'm here." Everyone was stunned. If they remember correctly, it seems Fin Lu and El Xia are the actual couple. They've done everything except make it official. Ivy Ding threw herself into Fin Lu's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. "Woo-woo, I really don't know what happened. The ball was completely out of control. I truly didn't mean to. Why is everyone blaming me?" Fin Lu frowned in distress, yet when he turned to look at me, his eyes were filled with cold indifference. "El Xia, is it really necessary for you to bully a young girl?" I was stunned. Me, bully her? But it was clearly me who fell, and it was me who got hurt. Fin Lu's expression was cold. "Ivy is just a frail bookworm who gets out of breath after running a few steps. How much force could she possibly put behind throwing a ball? On the contrary, you're the one who never studies and spends all your time fooling around outside. With reflexes that sharp, how could you suddenly get knocked down?" Fin Lu's words seemed to imply that I was deliberately trying to frame Ivy Ding. Faced with his accusation, my eyes welled up with tears. "Are you saying I deliberately set her up?" Fin Lu frowned impatiently. "Don't you think so? Since we're not officially together, we're not a couple, I have the right to pursue other girls. Stop playing those petty games of seeking attention. I still prefer the simpler version of you from before." Upon hearing the phrase "his right to pursue other girls," Ivy Ding blushed furiously. Is this his way of pursuing her? She nestled in Fin Lu's arms and looked at me, her eyes revealing a mix of hidden jealousy and smugness. The first time I noticed Fin Lu was when he was crouched downstairs feeding the cats. The sunlight bathed the young man, as if filled with warmth and divinity. The kitten rolled around playfully at his feet. This scene struck my heart. From then on, I would run into Finn Lu downstairs every day. Although my grades aren't good, I still put my heart into studying and don't want to date in high school. Finn Lu pesters me like a clingy ghost every day, confessing his feelings to me once daily. I know I'm very beautiful. The school belle, and all those suitors only pursue me for my looks. After my cold rejections, they never bothered me again. Only Finn Lu perseveres unwaveringly. In front of him, I can be completely wild and carefree, without worrying about my image at all. He said to me in person, "What I've always loved is not your face, but the shape of your soul. I love the strands of hair you tuck behind your ears while doing homework, your playful steps on shadows during sunset. Wonder why you've watched Sweetie dozens of times, which song you have on repeat, and adore your sharp-edged temper." I was originally planning to formally accept Finn Lu's proposal today. Finn Lu looked at me still slumped on the ground, a hint of impatience flickering between his brows. "How long do you plan to keep pretending?" I struggled to get up, but my head was truly too dizzy, and everything went black before my eyes, seeing me remain motionless for a long time. Finn Lu curled his lips coldly. "I thought you wouldn't resort to scheming, but playing the pity card doesn't work on me." Finn Lu took Ivy Ding's hand and left without looking back. As Ivy Ding passed by me, she whispered, "Actually, I think what that man said was quite right. Maybe you should read more books." Shia, what's the use of being so pretty if you dress provocatively all day long? With an empty head and no common topics to discuss, Finn must actually look down on you, right? I didn't mean to scold you, I was just worried about you. Finn Lu clearly heard it. Yet he didn't utter a single word in rebuttal. In the end, a kind-hearted female classmate helped me up. Don't be too upset, maybe Finn Lu is just playing around, but deep down he still cares about you. Look how long he's been chasing after you. Everyone knows you two are practically a couple." Another classmate nearby spat in disgust. "Personally, I think Finn Lu isn't even worthy of you. You're the school belle, so beautiful that your admirers could form a line all the way to France. Who does he think he is?" I lifted my gaze to watch their retreating figures. Finn Lu held Ivy Ding's hand, their fingers intertwined. I wanted to ask what that man had said to Finn Lu that day. But for several days in a row, I couldn't see Finn Lu. He never appeared again at the places we used to frequent together. I went to his classroom to find him, and he was always holding Ivy Ding in his arms, being all lovey-dovey and inseparable. Finally, one day after school, I saw him and that strange man enter a small alley. I secretly followed them. Adult Finn Lu put his arm around little Finn Lu's shoulder and teased him. "Not bad, right? Isn't Ivy Ding much gentler and more considerate than Shia? She never loses her temper with you and always goes along with whatever you say." Finn Lu nodded. "Indeed, Ivy is nothing like who's so high maintenance and pretentious. She always thinks about me, speaks in such a comforting way, even helps me with my homework, and brings me homemade lunches with heart-shaped notes. In comparison, truly has nothing but a pretty face, with no redeeming qualities." I covered my mouth, letting the tears fall freely. The adult Finn Lu patted his shoulder approvingly. "A kindred spirit like Ivy Ding is the perfect match for you. Don't let yourself be fooled by Shia's looks. After she gives birth, she'll become really ugly and sloppy. And she'll lose her temper at you over the slightest thing." Finn Lu hesitated for a long moment, finally nodded. "All right." Finn Lu was a bit curious. "What was it like after and I got married?" Adult Finn Lu curled his lips. "Not great. To you, she was no different from a burden. Her family was ordinary. Her career was ordinary. Just a regular white-collar worker at a small company, earning a fixed salary, completely unable to offer you any support. After she got pregnant, she quit her job, saying she wanted to focus on raising the child. But in reality, she just wanted to stay home and not work. She had no intention of sharing the load with you, and all the household expenses fell on your shoulders alone." Finn Lu frowned in confusion. Doesn't work." The adult Finn Lu nodded with disdain. "Right, as useless as a dodder plant. But Ivy Ding is different. She's smart and intelligent, got into the best university in the country, worked at the most prestigious law firm, and has had a successful career. Most importantly, she treats you well, attentive, caring, and considerate. She pursued you from freshman year all the way until marriage and children, never giving up for over a decade. This is what true, loyal, and pure love looks like." Finlu nodded thoughtfully. It does seem that way. I always feel so comfortable with Ivy. She never makes me the slightest bit unhappy, but with Elle, it's always me who has to comfort her. It's as if I have no dignity as a man. I hid in the corner, not daring to make a sound. Only then did I realize how strong Finlu's sense of pride was. After apologizing a few times, does that mean I've lost face? Adult Finlu nodded in agreement. This time I specifically traveled back just to remind you not to take the wrong path. When you turned 30, you finally made up your mind to get a divorce and pursue freedom. But Elle used the child to pressure you, clinging to you like a madwoman. As for Ivy Ding, she remained single all those years, waiting for you the whole time. Finlu looked up in shock. She never got a boyfriend. Adult Finlu nodded solemnly, his face filled with emotion. Not only that, Ivy Ding has remained a virgin for you to this day. I knew I didn't need to ask any more questions. Finlu's heart was no longer with me at all. I walked home in a daze, after a good cry. I vowed to completely forget about him the next day. No more intersections. The next day, Finlu made a grand public confession to Ivy Ding in front of the entire school. He was dressed in a suit, holding a large bouquet of red roses, gazing affectionately at Ivy Ding. Ivy, would you like to be with me? Ivy Ding stomped her feet in shy anger and threw herself into Finlu's arms. How could you do this in front of so many people? I'm embarrassed. The crowd's teasing voices were incessant. Especially those brothers of Finlu. Sister-in-law, hello, sister-in-law Tilda. Ivy Ding was beaming with joy. She never would have imagined that an ordinary girl like herself, who was clueless about studies and had poor social connections, she actually managed to steal Finlu from the school belle Elle. Doesn't this just prove she's more impressive than Elle? Otherwise, why would Finlu choose her over Elle? Ivy Ding's gaze fell on my chest, her eyes filled with disdain. Brains are still more important. Big breasts but no brains. Ivy Ding was completely immersed in the cheers of Finlu's brothers, unable to extricate herself. Finlu gazed at her tenderly and lingeringly. She had always been the plain and unremarkable ugly duckling since childhood. But now she was receiving attention from so many people for the first time. The girls in her class began to regard her with newfound respect. Even the cliques that had once excluded her now welcomed her effortlessly. The feeling of having every move noticed by everyone was simply intoxicating. She couldn't extricate herself. I felt so ashamed and angry under Ivy Ding's gaze that I clenched my fists and walked back to the classroom. It's just studying. I can do it too. From that day on, I buried myself in books, studying late into the night every single day without fail, not even taking breaks on weekends. My classmates were astonished, saying it was like I had become a completely different person. All traces of my former lazy habits vanished without a trace. Even the hair clips and accessories I used to love wearing were all discarded. Studying at my desk every day, never stopping day or night. A month later, the mock exam results came out. I stood in front of the bulletin board, searching for my ranking. My finger traced down row after row until I finally found my name at 325th place. There's progress. In the last mock exam, my ranking was over 400 in the whole school. That's a full 100 places improvement. Just then, a sudden snicker came from behind me. Ivy Ding covered her lips and giggled. After seeing you work hard for a whole month, I thought you'd be amazing, but you only ranked 300-something. Just give up. You're clearly not cut out for studying. You might as well drop out now and get a job. Oh wait, no, you're the school beauty. How could you possibly endure the hardship of working, unless... Ivy Ding drew out her tone with a mischievous look on her face. Don't tell me you're hoping to be kept by the big boss. I guess that counts as making a living off your looks. The way Ivy Ding looked at me was filled with hidden envy. What's the use of Elle great figure? Finlu still prefers her for her brains. Ivy Ding's eyes gleamed with malice. The big bosses love playing with women like you, but they'd never marry a brainless bimbo with big tits. You're destined to be unwanted by men. I noticed Ivy Ding had shiny manicured nails and wasn't wearing her school uniform, but rather a light blue dress. This was something she would never have done before. I sneered, how well I score on tests or whether men want me. What's it to you? You always said the brain is the most important thing. Now that I'm following your advice and burying myself in books, you're unhappy about it. Such a double standard. Ivy Ding pouted. I'm telling you to drop out and start working early for your own good. with that pig brain of yours, how could you possibly understand anything you read? Exams require talent. Take me, for example. I'm always in the top 10 of my grade. What do you have to compare with me? I raised an eyebrow. Oh really? But this time you only ranked 10th. Whereas last time you were second in the entire school. Ivy Ding's face showed a hint of anger. Still better than you. What right does a bottom dweller like you have to criticize me? This time I was just careless and made a few more mistakes, but next time I'll easily make up for it. You're not jealous that Finn chose me and not you, are you? Suddenly, Ivy Ding seemed to catch something out of the corner of her eye. I tripped over my own feet and fell to the ground. Her eyes filled with grievance as she covered her scraped knee. Why did you push me? Her accusing gaze was pitiful and full of sorrow. Is it just because Finn chose me? Would you not let go of anyone who takes Finn Lu away from you? But Finn is an independent individual. He's not your possession. I had no interest in watching her self-directed drama, so I turned and walked away, not wanting to engage. The next moment, Finn Lu suddenly rushed out from behind. He pushed me without hesitation. And I stumbled, falling near the bulletin board. I was utterly baffled, my face full of confusion. Finn Lu, are you two out of your minds? Finn Lu nervously held Ivy Ding in his arms, blowing on her knee where only the surface skin was slightly scraped. Are you okay? Does it hurt? I'll carry you to the infirmary right away. Seeing this despicable couple, I rolled my eyes hard. I no longer have any feelings for Finn Lu. I just came downstairs to check the rankings. But this crazy pair insisted on sticking around, rubbing my sore back. I prepared to leave. I really don't want to communicate with this seemingly mentally unstable couple anymore. Finn Lu, however, grabbed me and wouldn't let me leave. Let go, I said coldly, staring at him. Finn Lu looked at me as if I were a stranger. Just because I chose Ivy, you're deliberately targeting her like this. We're not even a couple, and even if we were, we've already broken up. What right do you have to control who the women around me are? The future me was right after all. You're truly unreasonable and spoiled, with nothing to offer but your looks. Who would ever want someone like you? Men would just get tired of you and throw you away. I couldn't believe what I was hearing as I stared at him. I thought even if Finn Lu didn't love me, the heartfelt conversations we shared day and night couldn't have been fake. I believed he at least saw me as a human being. Yet now he could utter such insulting words. Ivy Ding tugged at his sleeve. Don't blame her. A girl's jealousy can be quite strong. After all, I was the one who took you away from her. It's only natural that Shia would be jealous of me. I just didn't expect her to push me on purpose. Maybe seeing my grades were better than hers made her feel bad. I'm fine, really. Don't hold it against her. Finn Lu turned his head to look at the transcript on the bulletin board. One was ranked 10th. The other was beyond the 300th place. Finn Lu instantly became utterly convinced. He looked at me with disgust. You think hurting Ivy on purpose would make me come back to you? Stop dreaming, El Shia. I despise the way you use that innocent face to seduce me the most. You're a student, not some cheap entertainment at a club. Can't you act more decently? No wonder you pushed Ivy on purpose. You're jealous that she's smarter and gets better grades than you, aren't you? I couldn't believe my ears. Is this something a human being would say? My face has looked like this since I was a child. How does that suddenly become me deliberately seducing him? I was so angry that my teeth were chattering, unable to utter a complete sentence. I could only defend myself with actions. I use my waist to drive my arm. With a fierce swing, with lightning speed, I punch Finn Lu's chin. Get lost. Do you really think I'd fancy someone like you? Finn Lu was knocked to the ground by a punch, and Ivy Ding screamed as she rushed forward. Ah, help, murder. Finn Lu brushed off her hand and casually rubbed his chin. Unfazed, I'm fine. He glared at me darkly. Good, be this resolute then. Just don't come clinging to me. You disgust me, as if to show off to me, or perhaps to comfort the wounded Ivy Ding. The couple almost flaunts their love on social media every day. They either post pictures of holding hands or kissing. A bunch of people comment 99 underneath. Hello, big bro. Hello, big sis. I scoffed. Thank goodness I didn't walk with Finn Lu. His buddies are way too edgy, but Ivy Ding seems to particularly relish the feeling of being fawned over. I also noticed in the group photos Ivy Ding posted that her chest looked unusually full and noticeably larger. I'm puzzled. Wasn't she flat as a board just the other day, so she looks down on me verbally, saying I'm all boobs and no brains. Yet she secretly padded herself up to a D cup. I was speechless in an instant. Perhaps Ivy Ding relies on her intelligence and academic excellence, so now she's slacking off, often skipping classes with someone else to go out and have fun, and her presence in the study room is nowhere to be seen. I don't understand. With the college entrance exams just around the corner, why not save the fun for after the exams? Why insist on going wild during this critical period? Even when I used to fool around with Finlu, I would never skip classes or play hooky. At most, would just go on dates after school or on weekends. I would never do anything beyond that. Could it be that Ivy Ding is too confident in her grades? Think you can ace the exam without reviewing? I just blocked both of their social media feeds. Anyway, I'm focusing on the college entrance exam. They can do whatever they want, not my business. On the way home from school, I saw adult Finlu squatting at the entrance of the alley I had to pass through to get home. I kept my eyes straight ahead, ready to walk around him and leave. Unexpectedly, he stretched out a foot to block my path. I snapped angrily, "Congratulations, you've successfully driven us apart. Your goal has been achieved. So now please stop bothering me." Okay, hearing this, the adult Finlu's eyebrows lifted with delight. Successfully driven apart? Are you sure there's no chance of reconciliation? A breakup with absolutely zero possibility of getting back together? I stomped hard on the foot he had placed in my way. Exactly. I'd rather be with no man on earth than with you. Your fate has been successfully changed. Happy now? Adult Finlu laughed with unusual brightness, unable to close his mouth. Remember what you said today, and don't you dare come back looking for me, or I'll definitely look down on you. El Shia, I sneered, don't worry. I would never stoop so low as to be with scum like you. Disgusting. All the sincerity I wasted on you before was for nothing. You're just a bastard in human skin. Worse than a pig or a dog. The adult Finlu raised an eyebrow, completely unfazed by the insult. Go ahead and curse at me, I don't care. He smirked mockingly. Seems like after parting ways with the younger me, you started studying hard. How are your grades? I fell silent. None of your damn business. I used to be a complete slacker in school, with just average intelligence. No matter how hard you study now, it's impossible to make a comeback and get into Tsinghua or Peking University. Adult Finlu chuckled lightly. Ranked 325 last month, 292 this month. That's some progress at least, but with only a few months left before the college entrance exams. No matter how much progress you make, it's too late. At best, you might get into a bottom-tier second-tier university. TSK TSK TSK, my pupils constricted. You went to school to peek at my report card. Are you out of your mind? We've already broken up. Why are you still clinging to me? You damn pervert. Finlu shrugged. Anyway, once I travel back, the future will change, and we'll never cross paths again. So what's the harm in being a little nosy about your grades? I rolled my eyes hard. Oh, you think your grades are good? Didn't you check your own? Dropped from 400-something to 500-something. What a loser, ha. Watching the grown-up Finlu's indifferent demeanor, I grew suspicious. Why don't you seem the least bit worried about yourself? You didn't memorize the college entrance exam questions and plan to secretly send them to your past self, did you? I was startled. If you dare do this, I'll immediately call to report the leak of the college entrance exam questions. Don't even think about it, adult Finlu said helplessly. Don't worry, I don't have the brains for that. I can't even remember the questions. I smirked. Then you're really stupid. You went through so much trouble to travel back in time just to stop me from being with you. Wouldn't it be more important to get yourself into Tsinghua or Peking University? Finlu laughed. In the future, Ivy Ding will be a top lawyer. With her, I'll have more money than I can spend. Grades and such are completely irrelevant. Did you really think I'd care about a useless diploma? Future college graduates will be everywhere. So many they're practically worthless. I replied coldly. Oh. Then go cling to someone else's coattails. You gold-digging loser. I slung my backpack over my shoulder and walked straight ahead, not wanting to waste any more words on him. The grown-up Finlu chased after me, shouting, I've already got what I wanted, so don't you dare shamelessly come crawling back. Ivy Ding is my true love. Stop clinging to me. I never loved you. I didn't even bother responding. Who'd waste time on someone like that? The grown-up Finlu kept shouting. If it's too late now, stop obsessing over the academic route, try art school instead. The admission scores are much lower. This sentence successfully made me turn around in surprise. You're being this kind. Finlu smiled happily. Anyway, I've already successfully changed my future. Not having to be with a hag like you is beyond joyful, so giving you some advice isn't out of the question. After all, we met once. I'm not that heartless of a person. Oh, by the way, today is the last time you'll see me. The time has come. I must leave tonight. I'm going to that bright future. Without you by my side, my life will surely change completely. The radiant smile of adult Finlu stabbed at my eyes. I sneered. That's not necessarily true. The adult version of Finlu waved at me and walked away with unusually light steps. This time, it must be different. I was holding back my anger, unwilling to be looked down upon by that despicable couple. But I have to admit, in just a few months, I truly couldn't turn things around like the female lead in a TV drama. Suddenly, I thought of adult Finlu's suggestion. Why not try the art school entrance exam? But I never learned to sing, nor could I dance, so I simply applied for the modeling program. Anyway, I'm tall, so it should be fine, right? But the moment the interviewer saw me, they frowned instantly. You're not cut out to be a model. I sighed and got ready to head to the second school for the interview. I knew it. The top art school in Haicheng wouldn't be so easy to get into. Maybe I should just go back and focus on studying for the exams. The interviewer's face lit up with excitement. You should go into acting. Your face would explode on the big screen. Every audience member would fall in love with you. Me, I was exceptionally admitted to the modeling program by the interview teacher, who told me to transfer to the acting department as soon as the semester started. You're definitely going to be famous. Believe me. The interview teacher held on to me and wouldn't let go. You absolutely must come to our school. My college entrance exam scores were decent. After a final push, I scored over 400 points and was admitted to Haicheng Drama Academy. Right after graduation, I blocked Finlu and Ivy Ding, along with Finlu's brothers. I absolutely didn't want anything to do with those two lunatics. But as prominent figures at school, they still attracted a lot of attention. Even though I deleted them, I kept hearing rumors about them after starting college. I heard Ivy Ding failed the college entrance exam. In the last few months, relying on her solid foundation, she spent all her time fooling around outside with Finlu, and Finlu firmly believed that Ivy Ding's future would be incredibly successful, thinking it was fine to slack off for a couple of months. The two of them were completely oblivious to reality. In the end, the college entrance exam brought them crashing back down to earth. Ivy Ding scored just over 500 points, barely passing the first-tier university cutoff line. She could only apply to the lowest-ranked universities among ordinary first-tier institutions, unable to secure spots in popular majors. Finlu fared even worse. With his original scores, he might have barely qualified for a vocational college. Now he doesn't even meet vocational college requirements. With no school willing to accept him at all, I went to work right after graduation. With Finlu's looks, being young and having once been voted the most handsome guy on campus. If he was willing to swallow his pride and become a model in a big city, he might have earned hundreds of thousands or even millions, but he had long been spoiled by Ivy Ding, pampered and comfortably taken care of by her. Ask him to humble himself and serve others, that would practically kill him. Moreover, Finlu believes this is just one setback in the college entrance exam. Ivy Ding is so smart. She's bound to become a top lawyer at a prestigious firm in the future. Even if Ivy Ding didn't get into Tsinghua this time, she chose a law program at a second-tier university, so she's definitely on the path to success. Relying on his foresight, Finlu didn't put in any effort at all. He firmly believed that the Ivy Ding he chose must be the cream of the crop. Right at the start of the semester, I followed the teacher's advice and transferred to the acting department. When the director came to the school to cast roles, he noticed me at first glance. I was inexplicably pulled into the group. Although it was just a minor role, the show became a hit, and I suddenly gained some fame. Scripts started coming to me one after another. No matter how big or small the role was, I would perform each one with dedication. Gradually, I started to accumulate more and more fans. My acting skills weren't great, and I was constantly criticized at first, with negative posts about me all over the internet. But because my face was simply too stunning and outstanding, I still had a group of die-hard fans who firmly stood by me. I refused to be just a pretty face, and thinking about that cheating couple still makes me furious. How great does Finlu think he is? I'm definitely better than both of them. So I calmed down and honed my acting skills, from being called a pretty but talentless actress at the beginning, To standing on the world stage with a gold award 10 years later, there were no more questioning voices below. Once again, I brought home a gold award and wrapped up an advertising shoot. My manager, in a rare act of mercy, allowed me to take a break, advising me not to push myself like a workaholic without rest. Coincidentally, an invitation to a high school reunion arrived from an old classmate. It's been so long since we last met. Why don't we go and see, seeing that I was willing to come? My classmates were overjoyed. One of our own classmates has become a global superstar, someone we couldn't even hope to meet on a regular day, and now they're actually willing to come. My classmates and I happily chatted about the gossip from back in the day. The female classmate who helped me back then looked at me with envy. "You're so beautiful. You really should be a star. Your aura is just amazing." Thank goodness I wasn't held back by that despicable couple back then. Speak of the devil. The private room door opened, and Finloo tiptoed in holding a glass of red wine. His eyes lit up the moment he saw me. Long time no see. Finloo was no longer young, his face weathered with age, and he had gained quite a bit of weight. I remained silent. Finloo continued on his own. "Actually, I regretted it not long after. I thought about looking for you, but you had blocked all of us and changed your number. No one knew where you went. I searched so many places." Finloo smiled, putting on an air of charm as he picked up his wine glass and clinked it with mine. "Cheers, to the reunion of our youth." I pushed the wine glass away with disdain. "Don't play this game with me. What youth did we ever have? We just talked a bit by the roadside, that's all, unlike you and Ivy Ding, whose youth was filled with passionate love." Finloo's face stiffened. "I thought our heartfelt late-night conversations were real." I sneered, thinking of cheating again. Finloo shook his head, gazing at me with an inexplicably affectionate look. I was so startled that I got goosebumps and secretly used my phone to call my agent to come pick me up immediately. Finloo's eyes sparkled. "You still care about me? Don't worry, I've already broken up with Ivy Ding long ago." Me. When Ivy Ding is mentioned, Finloo's eyes are filled with disdain. It was all the future Ms. idea. He tricked me. Ivy Ding never became some top-tier lawyer to keep me from breaking up with her. She secretly had the child behind my back, and now I have to work to support both of them. I told her to get a job, but she refused, saying I should fulfill my responsibilities as a father. But I never wanted that child in the first place. I think an independent woman like you is exactly who I love. From beginning to end, I've only loved you alone. It's just that I was deceived back then." Finloo grew increasingly agitated as he spoke, gradually moving closer. His hand gripped mine tightly, refusing to let go. "When I confessed to you for the last time, I saw you nod. You agreed back then, didn't you? I've already broken up with Ivy Ding now. Let's start over." "Okay." Lu Chen looked at me with deep affection in his eyes, filled with an almost obsessive admiration. "I've saved so many photos of you in my phone. I've been watching you all these years. I know you haven't really forgotten about me either, right? Otherwise you wouldn't have deliberately blocked me." I almost threw up when I heard this. Now, Finloo is bald, overweight, out of shape, with a greasy and shiny face. Who on earth gave him such confidence? Just the thought that I once liked him makes me feel disgusted. The agent received my message and rushed in immediately. He surrounded me with bodyguards and quickly escorted me away. "Unrelated personnel, step aside." Finloo was pushed away, and though he tried to follow, the bodyguards firmly blocked him outside. "Don't stop me. My relationship with Elle is special." The agent was startled by this madman and quickly escorted me away. Only when I got home did I finally relax. But thinking about Finloo I met today, something felt off. He's only 29. How has he already gained so much weight? Then why is the adult version of Finloo who traveled back from high school so handsome? Has Ivy Ding been taking such poor care of him all these years? I shook my head. Forget it. I don't want to think about it anymore. Anyway, they'll never be able to get close to me again in their lifetime. Adult Finloo side story. The moment he opened his eyes, adult Finloo returned to his own future. He had deceived everyone. Actually, he is not the future Finloo, but Finloo's son, Lu Chen. He indeed wasn't lying. After his mother got together with Finloo, she couldn't work in order to take care of him, who was still a child. But was this what his mother wanted? Finloo never cared about the family at all. Seeing him crying for food, his mother had no choice but to quit her job and return home to take care of him. If she had a choice, why would she give up a promising career to become a housewife? Managing the entire household, her body gradually gained weight from the constant toil. she couldn't afford cosmetics, and wrinkles covered her face. The former figure is gone, now no different from those aunties on the street. Finloo, apart from throwing $1,000 to the family every month, bears no other responsibilities. He was raised by his mother since childhood. When he was 10 years old, Finloo had an affair. He was ashamed of his mother's unattractive appearance. The person he cheated with was none other than Ivy Ding. Ivy Ding did indeed become a successful lawyer. To Ivy Ding, Finloo was the unattainable crush from high school days, forever bathed in the glow of an idealized male figure. To Finloo, the current Ivy Ding is capable and charming. Far better than the plain-looking wife at home, and so wealthy to boot. The two hit it off immediately, like dry wood meeting a fierce flame. Finloo openly brought Ivy Ding home to fool around, nearly giving his mother a stroke from anger. Ivy Ding looked down on his mother with a condescending gaze. I thought the campus belle was something special, but turns out she's nothing much. Can't even keep a man. What a joke. If Finloo and his mother had parted ways amicably, it would have been one thing. But instead, he teamed up with Ivy Ding and used underhanded tactics to drive his mother out, leaving her with nothing. Ivy Ding, being a lawyer, pulled quite a few shady moves in the process. Mom didn't get a single penny. She had to struggle to make a living while raising him at a young age. Yet that house was clearly bought with Mom's savings, but it ended up in Finloo's hands. Finloo lived it up with Ivy Ding, enjoying the good life without paying a single cent in child support. Mom's back is bending more and more, her head lowering further. Lu Chen once asked his mom if she regretted giving birth to him. Without a burden like him, she would surely be much happier. But his mom shook her head. What I regret is being with that scumbag. But I've never once regretted having you. You'll always be Mom's most beloved child. Lu Chen secretly vowed that once he became an adult, he would work hard to earn money and ensure his mother lived a good life. But on the day he returned home with his Tsinghua University admission letter, he discovered his mother had taken her own life. All that remained was a suicide note. The note revealed she had fallen ill, requiring expensive treatment, and didn't want to burden her son. She left behind 23,561, 5 yuan. Lu Chen went mad, ready to take a knife to that cheating couple, until fate gave him a chance to travel back to the past. He saw his mother in her youth, so healthy, so radiant, her head was tilted so high. Lu Chen's tears fell in an instant. This time, he must change his fate. If his mother could be happy, it wouldn't matter even if he never came into this world. As soon as Lu Chen returned, he noticed his body was gradually dissipating. He knew he had succeeded. The photo of his deceased mother he had been holding in his hands vanished without a trace. Lu Chen looked out the window. The streets were flooded with massive billboard ads featuring El Shia. Mom laughed with unrestrained joy. This was the last glimpse of the world he saw. Mom, my mom.